No, this is not just another game on the schedule. Yes, it is significantly bigger than Kansas State. If we can reach one extra Oklahoma State fan to hate those land thieving turd burglars just a little bit more, we have succeeded. I hate that this is called the Sooner State. I don't know why we promote a group of cheaters so prominently, but it doesn't matter. They're gone. SEC you later, OU. And let them know on the way out, this ain't the Sooner State. It's a Cowboy State, and that needs to be the Cowboy state of mind.
You are Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, y'all, and hello, all. Welcome back to Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily stop for all things cowboy and cowgirl related. My name is Cody Stovall. I want to thank you kindly for stopping by to make this your first listen. You can find us on every single podcasting platform. You can find me visually on YouTube and personally on Twitter at AllDayOState. Today, we're partially brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. We get to jump off into this one because it is time to let the hate flow. I am so sick and tired of hearing about this rivalry and the number. It is kind of ironic that a large contingent of the OU fan base is only privy to like three numbers. Anything outside of these three numbers that they get to lump together, they seem to be pretty unaware that they, the Norman Territorial University Rough Riders and Boomers, celebrate a history of nothing but cheating. And they've been very good at it over the years. You got to give them credit. Credit's due. I mean, heck, they even have a national championship while they were under NCAA prohibition. So they find unique ways to get stuff done. They also find unique ways to pretend that their stuff smells like roses 24/7, which is fine. But when you hear my Gundy talk about, this being a game, I understand from a family perspective, right? It might be a little less docile, but it's not for us. It's not for us because we get to eat, sleep, and breathe this for 365 days. We know the feeling of what it feels like to be on the winning side. Now, we don't know a lot of it, but we know enough of it. We've had that taste, especially after 2021, to realize that this game in Boone Pickens Stadium does mean a little bit more. Yes, you got to beat K-State after losses to South Alabama and Iowa State, or none of it matters. That's very, very true. But again, can we stop pretending for just one time, one game, the last one, that it does mean a little bit more? Who cares if they're 7-on-7 buddies and they travel together and their parents talk and they talk about recruiting and all of the circuits and the high school coaches and all of these things and agents and NIL? Who cares? This is not about that anymore. Now, here's the deal. If they were still in the Big 12 and we had OU on the schedule again next year, sure, maybe a different story. Maybe you can lay down the jug of hate a little less, knowing that there's going to be more of these, but there's not. So let the hate flow, because I don't know about you guys, but I do hate the fact that they talk so much. And more often than not, all they talk about is those three little numbers, right? Was it 92, 19, and 7? Something like that, right? Now, of course, there's a little bit of discrepancy when it comes to the overall numerical value, probably because Oklahoma and Oklahoma State didn't start football at the same time. Probably because Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, actually, Oklahoma A&M and normal Territorial U, we didn't even have official hired coaches that ran football programs for a long time. Oklahoma State focused on wrestling because back then football was viewed as barbaric. Matter of fact, in 1907, the game of football was almost completely outlawed by the United States government due to the barbarism, which is why some of the rules and everything had to learn to take an effect. Who was excelling at breaking the rules before there was even rules invented? You guessed it, OU. Guys, they would duct tape pieces of elbow joints from like pipes. Like this is 100%. This is on OU's historical data. They would use like pieces of pipes from stoves as knee braces and arm pads and stuff like that. That's just who they are. Like the fact that we get to have this conversation of it potentially being the last one ever. Now, you and I both know I don't think that's going to happen, right? These big time rivalries seem to find a way to get back together. right? Sometimes it takes 8, 10, 12 years. And in Oklahoma State's case, as much as any of these mouth-breathing buffoons of OU fans want to sit there and hout at the moon that Mike Gundy is the reason the Bedlam's not being played no more. I mean, come on now, guys. Mike Gundy has a decent amount of control, but Mike Gundy doesn't control Chad Weiberg. Mike Gundy doesn't dictate all of the schedules. That is absolutely preposterous. Oh, and then take this to another level. Let's just pretend that Mike Gundy does, in fact, get to sit down and draw out schedules. Let's pretend that that's a scenario. Yeah? Okay, cool. So you're telling me that Mike Gundy went and scheduled Alabama, went and scheduled Georgia, went and scheduled Nebraska, but he's scared of OU. God, I mean, I know that he personally does coach like he's afraid of OU. I get that. Again, that's what I'm kind of getting at here. He seems to try to tiptoe through the tulips on this Bedlam thing, and I hate it. Maybe some of you like it. I don't know. This is, again, I'm not saying we should bring back Les Miles, but one of the things that will always leave an indelible mark on Oklahoma State fans was Les Miles' ability to say, you know what? We don't like them. We're going to go sock them in the throat repeatedly and make them hate the game of football. They might beat us, but they're going to hate the day while they do it. So if Mike Gundy, if he feels predisposition to make sure that things are handled more eloquently from behind the booth, that's fine. Then we got to do our job. And our job is to force feed this to the players. The players, I know some of them are buddies with the OU guys, but you want to beat your buddy 100%. You want to beat your buddy because it means a little bit more. It matters a little bit more. And let's face it, guys, we got more at stake here. We don't want to keep losing people to OU, and I'm sure they don't like losing people to us either. I don't think any of us like the fact that that's even a thing, right? That we can swap pitchers and then have football players leave and all that fun jazz. I do think that obviously Trace Ford's scenario was obviously unique due to the medical stuff. So I give that one a little bit of a pass, but that's not what this is about. This is about the in-state rivalry that equals recruiting. Guys, if we're excelling at the top of the Big 12 every single year and we're playing for Big 12 titles every single year, meanwhile, OU, let's just say they're pretty successful in the SEC, right? Let's say that they're always competing for 3rd, 4th, 5th place, and occasionally, every 4 or 5 years, they're able to win a title. Let's say that's the case. If you're one of the top players in the state of Oklahoma, you're telling me that you'd rather go to the SEC and be competing for 3rd, 4th, 5th place? Or do you want to compete for titles? Because last time I checked, nobody gives 13 hoots what conference you play in. If you're in the CFP Final Four or the 12-team format, whenever it comes to fruition, it doesn't matter. It's all about winning and taking care of business. And none of it matters if you can't get the guys to continue to buy in. Lincoln Riley opened the door for us to jump in on the in-state recruits, the top in-state guys, because Lincoln Riley didn't really give a crap about the in-state guys. Lincoln Riley thought that he could recruit from sea to shining sea, so he didn't need the Okies. It gave us a door. It gave us a door that we have been able to take advantage of. The question is that door going to continue to be open? Because we don't get to play them every year anymore. We don't get to say, hey, but you got this game on the schedule. We don't get that. This is the last time of that. So the last mark that will be left for in-state recruits and kids growing up is the last one. That's the one that matters. OU fans will talk about 92, 19, and 7 all day long. We already know that. We know that's gonna happen no matter what. So might as well make it 92, 20, and 7, and the 20th being the last one, because that's the one that matters. That's the indelible mark that we left on these high school recruits in the state of Oklahoma. They want to win stuff, they want to compete for stuff, and they want to go compete in the Final Four. You can maybe do that in the SEC at OU, but you can also maybe not. This is why it's crucial that we needed Mike Gundy to kind of reinvent his own wheel, to take advantage of, what have I been saying? Capitalization. This is that moment. Capitalization begins now. Yes, we had to have K-State, we had to have KU, we had to have Cincinnati and everybody else, West Virginia, leading up to get here. Yes, all true. But it matters for naught if we allow them to SEC you later with another W in one of those numerical categories that only OU fans know how to regurgitate. Let the hate flow. This one should be worse than all of the rest of them. This one should matter more than all of the rest of them because it's the last one. And that's what we're about to jump off into. But, ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't do that without reminding you that getting tickets to anything, especially a Bedlam, it's not an easy proposition. So you don't need to plan months in advance. Game Time allows you to kind of get in on the ticket action while the getting is good before all the craziness arrives. Again, this is a big one. This is the last one, but you shouldn't have to worry about planning everything in advance. You can get killer hot minute deals right up to the game, even an hour after the game. And the last minute flash deals, they have zones and easy ways for you to buy and see the tickets and view the seats from the area before you even purchase. Lowest price guaranteed and event cancellation protection, as well as job loss protection. Game Time has the deals and tickets right up to the start, even an hour after. And this is not just sports, guys. You can go to comedy. You can go to theater events, football, baseball, basketball, concerts. With the zone deals, you can pick the selection, and Game Time picks the seats for an average of 18% savings if you want to go that route. So download the Game Time app today, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply again. Create that account and redeem that code. Locked On College, LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. What is not guaranteed is a W. I get that. But what is guaranteed, once again, is this is the last one ever. So let's make it mean more. Let's let the hate flow and bring all the legends back. Speaking of legends, ladies and gentlemen, we've got several likely coming on the program this week. We also have an appearance later on today. Mark Rogers, College Football Show. We're gonna spread this thing out because I want to yell from the rooftops that this one matters a little bit more because it's the last one. The last one matters. That's the mark that people will leave. We get to rock the Cowboy state, best in the state, all year. Shirts, hats, jerseys, hoodies, whatever. I want that. Maybe I'm selfish. I guess I am selfish because I also want Leon Johnson and his brother to play for Oklahoma State next season too. But that's beside the point. What is the point is all of these recruits that will be here. The feeling of Bedlam is different. It just is. Of course, OU fans will tell you that the Red River is even more, quote unquote, different. That's easy for them to say, right? They feel like they're punching down when they talk crap. But again, outside of those three little fun numbers, I'm pretty sure that's the only mathematics that they're able to teach in the town of Norman, I guess. I don't know. But bring all the legends back, right? We're going to have Tatum Bell on the show. Looks like we got a pretty good line. Terry Miller, Jeremy Smith, Reggie White, all on the program this week, most likely. And they're going to be able to tell you their experiences from Bedlam and why it means more, why it matters more, why we should all care a little bit more about this one. And it's in Boone Pickens Stadium. Like if there was a script being written for Mike Gundy in this season, this is like the crescendo moment. It 100% is. Yes, he is 100% entrenched in bringing this thing back, right? From the doldrums to the top, okay? Without his buy-in and it being so legitimately real and the players not only seeing it every day, but feeling it every day, then none of this matters. We don't get to this point. But it doesn't, guys, if we're 2-6 or 1-10, it doesn't matter. Because this is the last one. This one does matter more. It should matter more. And maybe our head man can't say it. Maybe he doesn't believe it. But I will say this. If he would just come out and say one time, this one does matter more. This one will mean more. And we'll show it out on the field just one time. You don't have to go full less miles. Because the reason I think that it's important to me is because if you keep approaching it like, just a game, that can become infectious to the players. And I don't care what anybody says. I don't want that. I played the game long enough to know that that's not good. Yeah, sure. I played at Old Friends University. Don't know how that compares to George Fox, but I can tell you that the rivalry games are supposed to matter a little bit more. The bulletin board material is supposed to mean a little bit more. Yeah, it's not the 80s. It's not the 90s. It's not the 2000s, right? You're not wanting to go throw hands with every OU player you see on and off campus. It ain't like that anymore. Okay, fine. You want to talk about social media being somewhat good or bad, whichever way you look at it from the game of football? Fine. Let social media be the catalyst for all the crap talking this week. I'm okay with that. I don't care if we've got buddies that are buddies. It shouldn't matter this week. We should hate every single one of them equally. The legends will tell you. Yes, I'm excited to have them on, but this is the game. Bring all the legends back. We want to talk about indelible marks left on a fan base. Every single Oklahoma State fan out there remembers watching Des Bryant go absolutely nuts on the sidelines 2021 Bedlam. Who cares if Mike Gundy did or didn't like it? We liked it. We pay the tickets. We pay the salaries. We buy the Schwab dogs and the beers. We do that. So give us a little passion. Give us a little fire. Give us a 15-yard penalty here or there. We're okay with it because it's the last one. It definitely matters more than all the others. So that three stretch of numbers that every OU fan is taught to regurgitate from diapers on up, it means a little less knowing they're gone. Right? How does this not feel like that to everybody? I don't know. But I'm trying to get it out there. Because I do not want us approaching this as just another game. Because it's not. Because they're leaving. And then, what has our Achilles heel always been? OU. Right? All gas, no brakes, leave no quarter. One time. Make this look like 2011 again. 2011 is really the only time in our lifetimes, or at least my lifetime, that we've like boat raced OU. Like absolutely took them behind a woodshed and taught them a thing or five. Of course, we'd all love to see that again. But this is a big Gundy moment. And I don't know about you, but let me know down in the comments. I'm a little concerned of how little he's given this game. Like I've said it before, it's not about the Bedlam record per se. It's the fact that like 6 or 7 of these Bedlam losses have all been for a title or the trip to the title. So it wouldn't matter if we had this many losses to UCF or Temple or Valdosta State. If we played for 7 championships and we've only got 1 to our name, that's my problem. It just so happens to be Bedlam. But can we escape that? Mike Gundy, please. This one time, just come out and say, you know what? Dagnabbit, we do hate him. My brother's not there anymore, so it's okay to hate him. And we're going to go for their jugular from the very beginning. And we want to set the tone from the very beginning that this is going to be a war. This is going to be a fight in the box that they have not seen this year. KU is not the same fight in the box that Oklahoma State can provide. KU, Kenny Logan is good, but Kenny Logan is not Kendall Daniels. KU's got some dudes, but they don't have any Colin Olivers. They don't have any Nick Martins. I'm sorry, they just don't. So if those dudes are prepared to lay the wood and lay the hammer down, then maybe we do set the tone. And then maybe the game does look different. I don't like him setting up this conserva mode stuff. And maybe I'm wrong. Please talk me off the ledge. But when he talks about K-State was more important, and it's just another game that we need to get taken care of. That I get flashbacks. Of all the bedlams over the years that we've gone super conserva mode and punted when we shouldn't have, and didn't kick field goals even though we were on the 34-yard line. Taking knees going into halftime when we got a minute 27 left. This stuff is how he's talking, in my opinion. And I hate it. I absolutely cannot stand it. Again, don't go full less. That's fine. But give us less of this and more of you understanding and knowing that this is not just another game. Look at the rest of the schedule. Yeah, the Big 12 is wild wacky. You got to show up every single week. But it's not murderer's row after this. You win this game, you're probably in the Big 12 title game. Point blank, period, full stop. And we can all be Purple Power Cat fans as well this weekend, as I'm sure we all are. Anybody in the rightful, real Big 12 is going to be a Cowboy fan or a Purple Power Cat fan this weekend, as you should be. So if the Big 12 nation can come together and have our back, then every single fan out there that is living and breathing, you should too. The players don't have to hate anybody on the other sideline, but they should hate that ugly uniform. They should hate that cheater, land thieving logo. They should hate what they stand for. Because what they stand for is not what college football is about. It's not what the state of Oklahoma should be about, which is why I'm tired of hearing the Sooner State stuff. They left, they cheated, and they started it, right? They started everything that would allow the land run. And then they illegally took territory off the railroad that went through Norman. This is why they're called Sooners, and they celebrate it. We shouldn't. We shouldn't celebrate it. We should corral them up and put them in their place on their way out the door. People want to throw shade at the Big 12. This is an opportunity for that shade to be redirected. So I would appreciate if our main man, my Gundy, would just breathe a little bit more fire into this one. I know he's probably not gonna, but that's why we're here to do what we do. So I need your help out there. Make sure you fuel this fire, ladies and gentlemen. Another thing that you could probably fuel the fire of is FanDuel, because right now our customers are getting $150 back in bonus bets with any $5 money line bet. That's it. $150 back if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is super safe, secure, easy to use. You can bet on a multitude of things: money lines, player props, over-unders, Heisman, conference champions, who's going to win the Super Bowl. It literally doesn't matter. It's pretty endless. So go to FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off this season of making the money, honey. Again, that is FanDuel.com/lockedon. Go there now. Kick off your NFL or college money-making season, because FanDuel is the official partner of the NFL. Okay. So even though we might not have our complete hate mode from our head man, I don't think enough people are talking about Brian Nardo this year. I've heard this multiple times, and can we please just stop putting this out there? A lot of people are saying, well, Brian Nardo looks a lot like Jim Knowles year one. No. Jim Knowles was not making this many fourth quarter adjustments that were massively beneficial. Jim Knowles didn't have 5 dudes in the top 25 in the conference in tackles. Like, let's face it, guys, OU, their defensive prowess pretty much begins and ends with Danny Stutsman and Ethan Downs. And I hope Danny Stutsman is ready. I hope he's super healthy. I hope he has to put however much amount of tape physically possible on his ankle to get out there and do it. I hope he's ready. Ready to get ran the flip over by Ollie Gordon and the secret sauce, this offensive line. But we're going to save that a little bit later on when we have some legends on the show. So today I want to hammer home with Brian Nardo. Brian Nardo is the hidden gem. We've been saying on this show for a while now. I view him as better than Mike Yurcich. And yes, I know that's kind of a bold statement, right? Look what Mike Yurcich has been able to do since he's left Oklahoma State, especially now that he's at Penn State. But I like Brian Nardo's trajectory more. And his ability to get into living rooms is way better than Mike Yurcich. I would say Brian Nardo's ability to get inside of living rooms and it matter and mean more is significantly, maybe even ahead of Mike Gundy's at this point in time. Brian Nardo is a savant when it comes to the personable building of relationships. And then the football IQ is literally off the charts, which is why Gundy interviewed him for 6 hours, because he was amazed by how much Brian Nardo knew, not only on a whiteboard, but how to physically explain it to people and then get them to buy into the idea that you're covering an area instead of a dude, or you're covering, you know what I mean? You're covering this swath of land and you got to switch off and you got to be in conversation. And when you are in conversation, you got to make sure that you're setting each other up, like we've seen Xavier Benson do. Xavier Benson is the best setup man in the Big 12. Nick Martin is a bad mamma jamma. But is Nick Martin the same bad mamma jamma without Xavier Benson? Probably not, guys. I mean, Justin Wright would have been able to fill the similar type of void to set up somebody like a Nick Martin, but I don't think it looks the same as Xavier Benson. Why? Because Xavier Benson has the passion, the fire, and the drive that we're looking for in this exact episode. So if Xavier Benson, we already know that dude was ready to throw hands against Cincinnati, and it was so much fun. See, this is the beauty of being live and living in person when you're watching games, because you know, they cut to TV timeouts and all that fun jazz when you're watching it on the television. But live, you see Xavier Benson walking up to their sideline ready to rock and roll with people in the middle of the game. And I absolutely loved it. Matter of fact, there was one point in time that he was screaming at them, Cincinnati, to go for it on 4th and 1. And he was the only player left on the field before, you know, they put in their special teams unit, because he was legitimately saying, come on. Do it. Do it. I dare you. Go for it. I bet you won't. I love it. I love that stuff. And to me, it's that fire, that passion, and that energy that's going to show up in games like this more than any others. So, again, I'm a little concerned about the verbiage Mike Gundy uses in explaining Bedlam, but I also have a lot of faith in the guys in the locker room. Guys, we talked before Iowa State. The only chance we were going to have to turn this ship around was going to have to start with the dudes. Point blank, period. It is what it is. If they didn't buy in to decide that they were going to course correct on their own, then the buy-in from the coaches doesn't grow exponentially, which is precisely what happened. So this is why I do still have a lot of faith in us bringing the fire, the passion, and the energy, is because of guys like Xavier Benson, because of guys like Kendall Daniels. Justin Kirkland is an animal. Colin Clay is a bad mamma jamma. Cameron Epps has not even near reached his peak yet, but he's ready to go. Trey Rucker, this is your style of game, buddy. Lay the hammer down. All gas, no brakes, leave no quarter, leave no walking wounded alive. I don't just want to beat OU, all right? I want to take their soul from them in the very beginning of the game. And I think that starts with those guys. Xavier Benson, you keep doing you, buddy, because that is what we need for this game. We need to bottle that up and feed it to every single player on the defense. Offense, too. You know what? Leon Johnson, go out there and get you some pancakes, buddy. Get some pancakes out there on the numbers. Why not? Set the tone. We didn't set the tone in the first half against Cincinnati. We did very, very, very well in the second half. Don't tiptoe to the tulips on this one. Let Brian Nardo lead you. You go look at the stat department. There's a reason why our guys have so many tackles for loss, sacks. We might be better if we've got the guys like Xavier to lead the passion and the drive. I think we've got it. Hopefully we see it. All right, y'all. Like I said, stay on deck for this week. It's going to be loaded down with a bunch of legends from Oklahoma State so we can hear from their perspectives. All right, y'all. That's all we're going to have for this one right here. Check me later on the Mark Rogers College Football Show as we discuss more Bedlam stuff. All righty, y'all. You know I love you. God bless. Go Pokes. Thank you for tuning in to make this your first listen here on Locked On Oklahoma State. Later, Tay.